Hello, musicians. My name is Mr. Hodson. I am the music teacher at Helen Lehman Elementary. This video is going to be for parents and guardians of students who are in 5th or 6th grade. I'll be dealing with both of those grades in this particular video. Like I said, my name is Mr. Hodson. I teach music at the elementary school. Hopefully I have met you before, either from previous experience or also from parent-teacher conferences that we had a couple of weeks ago. So welcome back if that is you. If you're new and you've never met me, again, my name is Mr. Hodson, and you're going to learn a lot about me in the next few minutes. And then we'll talk a little bit about school, what we're going to be doing this year. First, this is a quote from Gerald Ford, who is a former president of the United States. And he said, "Music education opens doors that help children pass from school into the world around them. A world of work, culture, intellectual activity, and human involvement. The future of our nation depends on providing our children with a complete education that includes music." And obviously, as a music teacher, I firmly believe this. As an educator, I really believe it, that we can't just be teaching our students reading and writing. While it's very important, obviously, that music kind of puts a lot of these things together, and it really puts everything into context, allowing students also to be creative as well. So teaching the whole child and not just part of the child. Moving on, a little bit about myself. I won't bore you with reading this word for word. I will be providing this Google slide deck for you to be able to view on your own. And there's lots of links in there that you can click on. And there's you can also read more in depth about myself if you would like to know more about me. But basically, my name is Mr. Hodson. I grew up in Southern California. I have a love of music education. I've been doing it for quite a bit. This is my wife, Mrs. Hodson, and I. She's a teacher as well. She teaches 4th and 5th grade in another district. And we love what we do. We love being here. We've been in Sonoma County for about 10 years or so. And I just enjoy everything that this part of the state has to offer. Being from California, I really love hiking, sightseeing, eating, and participating in sport activities. I really love playing soccer, and I also love to run too. So those two kind of go hand in hand with each other. So here we are, and that's a little bit about myself. What about music, though? Music and me. I love to sing. It's one of my favorite things to do while I'm in class. I like making up songs. I love to play trumpet. That's my main instrument. It's my first instrument that I learned. And I also enjoy ukulele. I've gotten pretty good at that. And I love playing viola. It's one of my favorite string instruments to play. I also love just playing around with different instruments and kind of experimenting. And so I try and bring that curiosity and love of music to my teaching too. And hopefully we'll get a chance for students to show their creativity too, either via an instrument or some other way. I feel very fortunate to be teaching music. Music is my passion, and teaching others how to enjoy and experience music makes me happy too. So it all kind of comes full circle. Music at Helen Lehman Elementary School. So I mentioned it before. If you were with me for Parent-Teacher Conference Week, I will not be repeating a whole lot of information from that. If you would like to see that presentation, I will record a video of myself, and I also posted the links right here too as well. So for example, this video is for parents who have a student in 5th or 6th grade. So you would click this right here on your own time, and it would take you to the slide deck for that presentation that I gave. So if you want to catch up, or if you want to refresh the information that I gave there, I gave a little bit more in-depth information about what we're going to be doing in class this year. And like I said, I'll be repeating just a little bit of the information in this particular presentation as well. Next, as many of you know, we use Zoom as our live interaction for music. And also, as I mentioned, a lot of these things are clickable. So if you don't know what Zoom is, you can click right here and it'll let you know exactly what Zoom is. And then there are some videos in here that you can watch on your own time. Each one deals with a different topic, but basically they're all about how to get in on Zoom. And a lot of students are having no problem finding the Zoom links and clicking the Zoom links at the correct time. But there are a couple of problems. So for example, if you don't know how to get on Zoom using your student's Chromebook, then here is a video on how to do that. Basically, you just need to make sure that you're signed into Chrome as the student, and you also need to sign into Zoom using the @srschools.org or org. in order to get into the Zoom classes correctly. At some point, we're going to be only allowing students who are using their login in order to get in. You don't have to have a Zoom account, I'm told, but you still need to be using this email in order to get into the meetings. So that way we're only letting in students and we're not letting in someone who is not a part of our class. And we want to make sure we have a nice, safe learning environment for everyone. A lot of students have been coming in without their first and last name. So they come in with the password as their username, which is very confusing because if there's lots of them. The other problem is that students like to put little emojis or pictures next to their name, which I'm totally fine with. I like that students are expressing themselves using those emojis. But if they could, please put their first and last name first as their name. And if you want to put fun little pictures, you can put that after. But just the first and last name. It's not really necessary to put anything else on there. And again, make sure that you're using all of this with your at srcschools.org email address. And here is the video on how to do that. So this middle one is probably the most important one. This third video is just another way that students can edit their Zoom name. It's a different way of doing it than going through the sign-in process. So you can go through this one, especially if you don't want a Zoom account. If you want to keep your student without having a Zoom account, I believe this is the best way of doing that. But it's a little bit more confusing. I'm just going to warn you. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Speaking of Zoom, here are the Zoom classes for 5th and 6th grade are right down here. And like I said, these are clickable links. So you just click on the Wednesday and make sure that it actually is Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Because if you click it on any other day or any other time during that day, I will probably not be there. You can always show up to classes 5 minutes early. So at 10:50, I try and turn on the Zoom. So that way students can come on in and they just kind of sit there, or they can turn off their screen and go, their camera and go get a drink of water and then come back at 11 o'clock. That's fine too. Same thing for 6th grade, it's just right here. Something you may not know is I have help hours available for all students. So if they're missing homework, assignments, or if they have questions about the assignments, or if you missed a live class, if you missed one of your Wednesday classes, you can come to one of these other times at any time during these times. So for example, let's say I'm available at 9:50 on Monday. All right, well then come at 9:50 and there's the link for it. And there's also the meeting ID for it. And you can come to that. Difference is a different Zoom than their classroom, their Wednesday Zoom links. This is my help hour Zoom link. So you can come to there and it's very private. I can put people who shouldn't be there in a waiting room, or if they're waiting, and then I can help you out and give you some guidance and feedback on your homework and your assignments that you've been completing. Or if you're having a hard time helping your child with their homework, please come too as well, and I can help you help them, or we can all just help each other. If any of these times don't work, I might be changing these times based off of the needs of the students. You can just email me with a different time, and I'd be happy to meet you either on the video using the Zoom, or we can call on the phone, or some other way that works good for you. Next, you may know this already, is that Google Classroom we're going to be using for the 4th, 5th, and 6th grades. The good news is that I have almost every single 4th, 5th, and 6th grade student sign up for these classes, so I'm only hunting down a couple of extra students. So if you're one of those students that hasn't signed up, you can use these two links down here in the bottom right-hand corner. For 5th grade, you just click that on your student's Chromebook, and it'll take you to Google Classroom and help them sign up. But like I said, most people are already there, and the same thing for 6th grade. There's a little code down here as well. For parents, as a parent, you can get email summaries about your child's activity in classroom. And you can get that at different intervals. If you want to get it once a week, or I think you can get one every single day. And it will tell you all of these three things. For example, missing work. If students haven't turned in work, then you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see upcoming work. So if I post a lesson, or if I post an assignment on Monday of the week, then you'll be able to see that, and you can help your child time manage, so that way they can get all of their homework done for all of their classes. And it'll also show you the class activities. So for example, if I post a question in Google Classroom and I want every single student to answer it, you'll be able to see the answers that your child gives, presumably. I've never actually used this feature, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've seen parents talk how useful it is for them. So something that is different for 5th and 6th grade that we don't do for any other grade level is we give, at some point, our 5th and 6th graders a choice on what kind of instrument they might want to play. This is a very unique year, so we have been figuring it out how to get instruments to students, and we are well on our way of being able to do that. By the way, if you have an instrument from last year, please turn that in. Or if something happened to it, please let the office know so that way we can mark your name down, and so that way we don't have to keep calling you incessantly to find out where that instrument is. But for this year, these are the instruments for students who don't have any experience on any of the instruments. So for example, if you've never played flute before and you want to play flute this year, we are going to be able to give that to you, but you're just going to be in the first year flute class. For example, if you have played flute already for 1 year, or any of these instruments, then you would be in the advanced group. So we have an advanced band, an advanced orchestra, an advanced guitar class, and an advanced chorus singing class, depending on what instrument you played previously. If you're brand new on the instrument, so if last year you played flute, but this year you want to play violin, then you would be in the beginner violin class. And we have also beginner chorus, and then we're also going to have what's called digital music, or Soundtrap. Soundtrap is a program that the students can use on their Chromebooks. And this will allow students who don't want to be in charge of an instrument like a violin or guitar or trombone or any of these that cost lots of money. You'd be responsible for keeping it nice. If you don't want that, then chorus and digital music are your best options. So that way you don't have to have an instrument if you don't want one. A part of the music choices for 5th and 6th graders. We're hoping to distribute the instruments to 5th and 6th graders in October. So right now we're right at the end of September, so it might be towards the end of October at this point. Parents, along with the help of your child, will need to fill out the form to decide what instrument class they learn, and that form is down here. So if you click on this, it'll take you to a little questionnaire, and it'll ask you some questions about you and your child. Your child can help you out with that. For example, if you don't know whether they played an instrument last year, hopefully they will be able to tell you whether they played an instrument last year, and most every single person did, every student did. Students will be grouped into like instruments and might switch teachers or Zoom meetings, but the times will stay the same. So we worked really hard to make sure that all of our times lined up, and we'll do the best we can to make sure that that stays the same. But for example, I won't be teaching every single instrument. I'll only be teaching, one instrument here and then one instrument here. So if your child chooses one of those instruments, then they will have me as a music teacher, or they may be with another music teacher in the district. Instruments and other supplies will need to be picked up on school site by a parent or student during the pickup times, and we have safe procedures for this where you are physically distant from us, but we still allow you to be able to hand that instrument to you in some safe fashion. And then, like I said, this is probably the most important. Please make sure that you take this survey so that way we know how many students are interested in what instruments, so we can start getting the instruments ready for distribution. So if we have lots of students that want to play clarinet, we want to make sure that we have lots of clarinets available. We are limited by how many instruments we have, so please make sure you do this as soon as possible, so that way we can make sure that we have an instrument for you and your child. Just some real quick things. We do have a Santa Rosa City Schools music website. If you want to go to the Helen Lehman portion, you can click here. For 5th and 6th graders, though, we also have sections that are for instruments only. So if you are playing a particular type of instruments, this might be a good resource for you to go to the website, and then you can go music by instruments, and then there's some different parts of the website that are more instrument specific. So I don't have a whole lot of information about violin, for example, on this main page, so you would have to go to a different page in order to do that. And this is a work in progress. I'm doing my best to keep this updated, and I'll let you know when it's got updated with more information that might be relevant to you. Last but certainly not least, how to contact me. I really enjoy the contact with parents. I do my best to try and get to it as quickly as possible. Email is a really great way of doing it. If you need the answer within a week or two, email is great. I don't always get to it day of, but I really try and get to it within the same week that you give it to me, that you send it to me. And this is my email, and you can click it, and then it will take you to your messaging mail, whatever mail app you're using. You can also message me on one of the apps that we provide at Santa Rosa City Schools. Parent Square is one of the biggest ones. I am not able to message you on Parent Square. However, if you message me, then I will be able to contact you. But just like Ms. Cooper sends out school-wide information, I can't do that yet, but I will be able to hopefully soon. But you can definitely message me in Parent Square, and I have that on my phone, so you can message me and I will try and get to it basically in the same day. Same thing with Google Classroom, although Google Classroom is very difficult for me to see all of the messages. For example, if you just make a comment on the stream, I don't necessarily see that right away. This usually takes a couple of weeks for me to get to. So if you really want to get to me as quickly as possible, Parent Square is probably the best way. You can also call me. I have a phone number that is not, I didn't mention in this particular, but you can email me and I will give you that contact information too as well. So that's the easiest way. The Parent Square is the best way. Next best way is the email, and the worst way probably is Google Classroom. All right, I just want to thank you all for waiting to the end, just over almost 17 minutes. So thank you again for listening to everything. I will have this slide deck available for you with all the clickable links. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or to the front office, and we can either answer your question or get you in touch with the people that can answer your question. Thank you again. Really looking forward to an exciting and wonderful, wonderful year. Please make sure you take the music survey. It was on a couple of pages ago, and we will see you soon. All right, bye.